Welcome to the I Am Radio TV Network with today's feature show, Interactive Interviews, with your host, Jeffrey Miller. Get ready to go interactive. Well, hello. How is everybody out there today? I am Jeffrey Miller. I'm so pleased to be here on behalf of the I Am Radio TV Network. This is live stream. And we are excited today because we are coming to you from the warm and sunny shores of Fort Myers, Florida. You see to get the hat on. And listen, the sun's got a little bright out here, so I thought I might put the shades on as well. And I don't know how professional that looks, but you know what? We are in sunny Florida, about 90 degrees with thunderstorms this afternoon. I'm sorry, I know. But I understand the good old state of Maine's warming up. And one of the things we're going to talk about today is, in fact, that because we might be heading back that way shortly. So we'll talk about and talk to a very lovely lady from Maine, Bangor, Maine. But here's the thing. The I Am Radio TV network is growing leaps and bounds. And we are excited about that. My wife, Emily, and I've got to intro to you a new show coming up. Oh, my goodness. It's going to be fantastic. It's absolutely going to be fantastic. And Emily's got a show called Connecting the Dots. And that is on Wednesdays afternoons at 4 p.m. EST, Eastern Standard Time. That would be 1 o'clock Pacific, and you can figure the time zone changes in between. And then, of course, over in the grand old UK, where Emily hails from, it'll be 9 p.m. at night. Now, for our listening friends in Auckland, New Zealand, it's going to be 8 a.m. in the morning. And over in Melbourne, Victoria, and up the Gold Coast, the east coast of Australia, is something like 6 a.m. So you need to get your butts out of bed, is what I'm telling you. Because these shows at 4 o'clock in the afternoon are suited best for a worldwide audience, if you know what I mean. So, as I said, I want to introduce to you a new show very quickly, and then we're going to have our special guest, and I'm going to introduce her in just a moment. The new show is called Let's Get Real. Now, when you think about that, you say, let's get real. Well, what do you mean, Jeff? Let's get real. And when you ask somebody or you say that to somebody and they make a statement to you or they think about something and you say, hey, get real, will you? What does that thought mean to you? Get real. I mean, it's profound, isn't it? Because it's an expression that people take a little bit of me? Get real? I was speaking the truth. Are you really? Are you really speaking from a point of honesty and integrity? And this show is going to be fantastic. It's not going to be politics, kids. We're not going there, but we are going to talk about everything about get real. Well, that's it for that. And we'll talk a little bit more about that later. Right now, I want to talk to you about a very lovely lady and a dear friend of ours, Barbara Anne Cookson, who worked in the dental field for 23 years before becoming a certified health coach and a life coach. Also, motivational keynote speaker and author of A Superhero You. Activate your unstoppable powers. She's about to launch a new podcast known as Super-fied Life, personal growth for the rest of us. Her message empowers women to live their best lives and brings the unique gifts to the world. Well, I'll tell you what, we are excited, and I am very happy to announce and introduce my dear friend, Barbara Anne Cookson, to the show. Hello. How are you?
Hello to you, Jeff. It's so good to see you. Thanks for having me.
I love seeing your glowing face. And everybody, notice that shirt. I glow. And she isn't. No, look at this lady. Tell me she's not glowing, right? I mean, you can see it. She's like, whoop, radiating. Because that's the way she feels. That's an attitude. And that's one of the things I love about you, Barbara. And you are just the epitome of glowing. You're just like, whoop. You're just constantly in a happy, beautiful mood. Now, I don't know if you fake it when you're around us, but this is the way I always see you, you see.
Well, thank you. That's so sweet to say. I will say I try to glow every day, but I'll tell you lately it's been tough for all of us, including me a little bit.
Yes.
I'm an extrovert. I'm an extrovert and a big hugger. You know me.
Oh, we know about the hugging.
And
I
I
know
know you
about
are
that.
too. So this isolation and lockdown is really tough for those of us that are
Yeah.
extroverted huggers.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's been 8 weeks of you know what. And a lot of people say, well, how are you doing, Jeff? Are you going out? I mean, you've got advanced stage 4 cancer, you know. I said, well, sometimes I forget I have that.
Yeah.
What do you mean? How could you forget that? You're not supposed to go to the store. Don't do this. Don't do that.
Yeah.
For the most part, you're right. We have not. Emily has, and most of the stuff's been delivered, which is we've got some phenomenal opportunities down here in Florida. It's such a big population. It makes a huge difference. We happen to be living on a beautiful little island community, and I'm going to brag a little bit. In the midst of the Calusi, it was an old Indian saying that said, where the forks of two rivers meet, there shall be no storms. Well, that means there's going to be no cancer either, because I'm going to kick it right to the freaking curb, right? But that's a true statement, right? We are at the mouth of this little island, is in the mouth of the Caloosahatchee and the Orange Rivers, and we're about a 30-minute slow boat ride from the Gulf of Mexico and all those beautiful white beaches. So y'all going to have to get down here, Barbara, and I'm going to tell you right now.
I will.
See, they got me speaking a little bit like this down here, and I don't know if that's kind of a cross Tennessean or a West Virginian or something, but anyway, they do sound like that.
If the sun had not come out today in Maine, I probably would have hitchhiked to Florida.
Well, yeah. I know a man with a private jet, and he made an offer. I said, "Don't say that twice."
Yeah, yeah. We've had a very cold, wet spring up here in Maine. I'm in central Maine and central eastern Maine, and yeah, it's been terrible. But today I think we hit 70 degrees today. It's fantastic.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
I am very glad to hear that. I got to see what we got here right now. Just to let y'all know, this is what's happening right now in good old Fort Myers. So I don't think you know if you can see that very well, but it probably not with the way the screen's set up. It's like radiating through. Anyway, because of the green, it's all thunderstorms. We're down to 82 degrees. Our low is going to be 72.
Wow.
Thunderstorms will continue. We're getting some much needed rain. There's been a lot of forest fires, and the Everglades has been on fire for about better part of the last week.
Oh my gosh.
A whole township, I understand. A lot of homes are burned down there at what they call Alligator Alley, where you cross over to Miami, Fort Lauderdale. So yeah, pretty sad. And let's see, we got somebody who said something here already. Oh, that's me. We're live now. I said that. So there you go. And that's so I wanted while we're doing that, while we're chatting here for a minute before we get together, because I'm gonna talk. I really want to talk to you about what you've been doing, how you get started and everything. Yeah. But I've got something down here I want to put up for everybody. Let's see, where is it here? There we go. Yeah. All right. There's a banner, guys, and you're going to want to get a hold of this lady. I'm going to put this right up now. First and foremost, we put this stuff up, and I'm trying to see why your name doesn't say Barbara Anne Cookson. It says test. I'm trying to sort that out. Oh. It should say your name. It says you're not a test. I know that. You're the real thing. Anywho, I don't think we can alter that now. I don't know. When you signed in, when you logged into the network, it should have allowed you to put your name in there.
Oh no, it didn't ask me. That's okay.
Well, I need to file a complaint with the management. Where's Emily? Where is she? She's around here somewhere. She's actually with a client. She may hopefully join us a little later.
Oh, good.
We've known each other for a long time, and we met through social media, interacting with personal development, which was cool. Found out you were in Bangor, and I was just up the road in the woods up in Lincoln. Yep. And I've been up there. I had been up there for about 20 years, but over the last, I think, 5-7 years, you and I met, and Emily. Yep. And we've had a great relationship, talked all about all kinds of things. We'd go to dinner when we could go. I know times I've come down to the Cancer Center, the Lafayette Family Cancer Center when we were in Maine. We'd catch up for a meal, usually a lunch, and enjoy that.
Absolutely.
But I've always been intrigued by what you do, because you actually come out of the dental industry.
I did.
Yeah.
I did.
And go ahead.
I was a dental assistant for 23 years. And that's kind of hard because I just turned 29.
I believe that. You're glowing like you're 29. Come on.
Well, I started out dental assisting, and I did that for a very long time. And the last dentist that I worked for was 80 years old, and
Wow.
he wanted to work until he just couldn't work anymore. But I knew that wouldn't be forever, and I decided it was time to switch jobs, switch careers, and I kind of wanted to stay in the dental, in the medical kind of healthcare realm. Because that's kind of where my passion was. And I did not, he wanted me to become a dentist and take over his practice. I did not want to do that at 40 years old. So I decided to do something completely different, and I went to massage therapy school.
Cool.
And so I started doing that. And very quickly after I started doing that, I had clients that were inspired by me to get healthy, because that's what I had done. And lost weight and got healthy and got fit. And I became a fitness instructor from there. And then clients started asking me for coaching and health coaching. And so I thought, okay, this is what people want. So I went back to school for that. And I became a certified health coach.
Awesome.
And I did that for a little while. And then it just sort of morphed into life coaching. So I learned all about life coaching and started life coaching. And then I started getting asked to speak. So that's how it all sort of morphed and rolled one into the next career.
We kind of met in and around there, I think. Somewhere. Yes. From in that area. I was trying to do a timeline, and I said, I think it was right around that period. I was looking at your bio, and I said, yeah, I don't know how many years ago that is now. It's probably at least 5-7 years ago.
Yeah, because I started keynoting about 5 or 6 about 7 years ago. Yeah.
Yep. And I knew you. So it was just before that. So it's pretty closer to 8.
Yep.
So I also wanted to add, guys, not to interrupt Barbara Ann, but please ask questions. Please let us know you're here. There's a chat area. We'd love to see your comments, and if we see them, we'll put them up on screen. You'll get a little bit of a shine on the screen. It'll show you a picture from Facebook, and you'll see yourself up on. Barbara Ann will now know you're here.
Yes.
And that's very important. So please, I see we definitely got 12, 14, 15 people in between our Facebook pages. This is amazing how this system works, because it multi-streams. And it also goes to our YouTube channel for the network. So it'll be archived there forever.
Very cool.
And it's really nice. So, you talk about life coaching. That was a cool thing. I did that too. I went with Tony Robbins like 10, 12 years ago now. And also worked for him as a salesperson, selling the events, which was pretty cool for a long, long time. And I recognized that, you know what? I love what I'm doing, and I love being a coach. And I really, 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 hey, wait a minute. Look at that. You got somebody saying hi.
There we go.
Hello, Marie. How are you? Thank you for joining us on the show.
Hi, Marie. Marie is a first responder. So thank you, Marie, for all you're doing.
Thank you. Mwah.
Absolutely.
We love you. We love you. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah.
Thanks for being with us today. But yeah, long story short, it morphed into me becoming that coach as well. And I became my first best client because, man, I needed it. It was crazy. When you think about the career you've taken since life coach, how did you start the superhero speaker?
Oh my goodness. That's kind of a funny story. Years ago, when I started speaking, I started doing smaller events and speaking at association meetings and things like that locally. And I got asked I actually did a corporate event. I can't even remember how many years ago, but it was a corporate event that I was asked to come and do a few hours with some corporate executives that were having a weekend retreat. And they wanted me to come in and do like a 3-hour, let's motivate everybody, inspire everybody, get everybody pumped for the weekend kind of a thing. And great. I love to do that. So I went to do that. And there happened to be a woman in the audience who was in charge of organizing. She was the event planner for a women's conference. that fall. And she was impressed with my presentation for them and asked if I would come back and do the keynote for their women's conference. And I, of course, said yes. That's what I love to do more than anything, is to speak to women's audiences. And the theme for their women's conference that year was superheroes.
Wow.
So it sort of happened by accident, kind of, as we were talking and in the planning stages for what they actually wanted me to do for the keynote. We were discussing the theme and how they were going to run the whole operation, and she told me that the entire staff that would be at this conference would be dressed as superheroes. And that was going to be the whole theme. They were going to have a photo booth with superheroes, and just the whole thing was superheroes. And I said, well, gee, what if do you want me to dress as a superhero? And she was really funny. She said, well, we wanted to ask you, but we weren't sure you'd do that. And I said, sure, I'll do that. That sounds really fun. So I found a superhero suit, and I did the whole thing, the superhero suit, the boots, the headband, the whole thing. And I did my hour-long keynote dressed as a superhero. And it was a big hit. They loved it. And then from there, people saw pictures from that and heard about it. And it just sort of snowballed, and people started asking, are you going to wear the suit? Can you do the superhero talk? And so that's how it sort of evolved. And I still have the suit. I still wear it if someone asks. But I'm kind of trying to get away from the suit, just because it's a little hard to wear that suit. So now I wear the boots, and I wear my shirt.
There you go.
The message is the same. It's a superhero message, and that's how that all sort of morphed. And my messaging is all about being your own superhero. So
fantastic.
Yeah.
I was gonna, talking about the suit, and reminded me, I was gonna actually ask you to wear it. Because I love it. When I first saw you in that suit, I went, oh, Wonder Woman, Supergirl. Oh my gosh. Because you fit it. You fit it.
I have to tell you a quick little aside when you said that. I was speaking at a conference in Fort Lauderdale and down your way.
Yes.
And I was keynoting a conference, and the meeting, the big conference room, ballroom where I was speaking, was on a different floor from where my room was. Okay. And so I had to get into the suit and the boots, the whole outfit, in my room, and then somehow get downstairs to the meeting room between floors
without causing a real issue in the hotel, right?
Yeah, and in this suit. So there was a small stretch of hallway. I did figure out the day before, and we figured out there was a back stairwell going down, and I actually had to walk through the kitchen in the superhero suit, and I got some funny looks in the kitchen. But from my room to the elevator was quite a stretch in the hallway that there was no way to get around it. I had to go from my room to this elevator. And the cutest little boy was walking in the hall with his mom and dad. And when Robin, my assistant, was with me, and when Robin and I came out of my room and were walking down the hall to get to the elevator, we saw this couple and this little boy coming our way in the hall. And his eyes got this big. And the closer they get, he I would guess he was about 4 years old. And as they got up to us, I smiled at him and I winked at him, and he looked up at me and he said, wow, are you Wonder Woman?
Oh, I love that.
And I leaned down and I said, yes, I am. And he said, wow.
It's amazing, those people that are dressed up like superheroes and go into the hospitals, the cancer wards and whatever, children. we had a funny situation because I love doing voiceover and haven't done much of it, probably 3-4 years.
And
Thinking
you
about
have the
going back.
voice for voiceovers, let me tell you.
Thank you. As does your brother,
Yes.
Don. And
Yes.
we played at Gagan's. I'm going to give a little shout out to Gagan's right now. We were over at Brewer at the brewery, and we were waiting for what was the introduction for Halloween? Stephen King did. Oh, it was the Dawn, help me, will you? It was the Dougie Graves. Dougie Graves was coming out, and
Yes.
your sister Deborah was there, and Dawn and I did a Facebook Live. I've got to drag that out because between his voice and mine, and he and I were going back and forth doing it,
The two radio voices, yes.
Oh my gosh, and we were batting back and forth like we he is a seasoned pro, and I'm not. I just do this. I have fun, and I mean he's Mr. Radio. Let's be serious, and love to hear him on the radio. And haven't for a while, I have to admit, I'm very guilty of that because after all, I'm down here in Florida now.
You're in Florida, yeah.
but still, there's no excuse. I mean, if people in Auckland, New Zealand are going to hear this broadcast now, there's no reason I couldn't hear your brother on the radio, right?
He streams.
That's right. He streams as well. So, and so Dawn, if you're watching this either live or replay, I'm sorry. I haven't been doing it. But remember that night we had a ball. But we were in Florida, 3-4 years ago, and Emily had never been to Disney here, only in Paris. And luckily, I've not been to Disney Paris, but here we were there. And we went in and watched Monsters, Inc. And they had that Stealing the Time show. And they picked on people in the audience and asked if you would participate and say a line. Well, they picked on me, and this was my line. I'm that guy. and I'm that guy was a guy that was part of this skit, and I did not realize, you talk about the innocence of children. The kids evidently loved it when they shone the camera on me, and I had to say, when I saw myself on screen, I am that guy, but I had no mic or nothing. I think I did. I think I had a little wireless they gave me. Didn't realize as a young boy sitting next to me. Didn't even think about it. And every time I did it, evidently he kind of withdrew to his mother.
Yeah.
And when we got up to leave, he said, "Excuse me, are you really that guy?" I said, "Yes, I am that guy." And it was the funniest thing. And then we get to the doorway to go out, and I didn't have any suit on. You have a suit on, right? I did. And we went to the door to go out and leave the auditorium. And all these big doors swing open, and the little kids are chuckling, pointing at me. I said, "Are you looking for that guy?" And it was, I've never had so much fun in my life in a lousy 15, I shouldn't say lousy, in 15 minutes of fun inside an event in Disney. It was absolutely hilarious.
And kids are so genuine.
They are. And I love it to pieces when they get all excited because they see these things on TV, like here comes Superwoman walking down the hall. And you've got the height and the stature. I mean, you look like Superwoman with the band on your head and everything else. I didn't really look like that guy. I mean, I was probably actually a little portly but anyway, it doesn't matter. The fun is had, and that so if you want to go back to the costume, I really like it. Just letting you know.
Well, it's still here. I have actually several of them in the closet, and I do wear them when I need to. But it doesn't really matter what I wear because the message is always the same.
Oh wow, we've got some. What do we got here? Oh my goodness. Let's see here. We got to bring some people in. Rebecca.
Oh, Rebecca.
Look at that.
Rebecca is a dentist that I know. And so, God bless her for seeing patients and in this really crazy time. I'm happy to see Rebecca. Hi, Rebecca.
And we got a comment for your brother from Marie.
Don is a great guy. Yes, he is. He's a fantastic broadcaster.
Yes,
I have to show you, Jeff, that Winston.
I do know Winston.
Winston had to say hello. Winston's been sleeping in my lap while we're talking.
Hey, Winston.
I never go anywhere without Winston.
Yeah, we'll see him. We'll see him in about a month. Oh, look, you're gonna love this.
Oh,
Hi, Deb.
that is my twin sister, Deborah Lynn.
Yes, it
Do you see
is.
the resemblance?
Yeah, I think. If anybody doesn't, I don't know if they need a pair of another glasses or something.
And
So I guess everybody say Marie's saying hi to Deborah.
yeah, she's a superhero personal trainer and has had to transition her business during this pandemic to go online.
Absolutely correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, and because you now Marie, I'm not sure who you're saying is glowing because they both look alike. So let's be serious. I mean,
She glows. Now, I really do have to explain what glow means
why don't you?
because Marie just said she glows. Glow is an acronym, and I started using it actually, I don't know, a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really the underlying message for everything that I do, all of the superhero stuff and superpowers talks that I give. The biggest superpower of all, and this is why you and I connect so well, is because we both believe this, and I know you do because you teach the same thing.
Right.
Is that love is the greatest power, and
Amen.
glow stands for I give love out to the world.
Oh, I love that.
And so that's the big message, and the way that we can grow our own superpowers is to do just that, is to give love out to the world in everything that we do. And so that's why I wear the shirt, that's why I wear the message, that's why I have stickers I give to everybody. It's
Yeah, you're gonna have to get us a couple of shirts for down here.
Yes.
Yeah, there's no question. Well, we'll be back up there before too long. I'm not sure when. As soon as you guys get out of pandemic, not
Pandemic, yeah.
but
Yeah, we're still in lockdown. A lot of places still are. We're in lockdown up here, and we're reopening slowly in Maine,
right.
in phases.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we're still in phase 1 of reopening. Phase 2 is June 1st, and I think we'll start to maybe get some of our restaurants back.
Okay, good.
But yeah, it's a scary time for everybody. But it's so important. You and I both believe that it's so important that we have to give love out to the world, and that's what we're doing with this network and your shows.
That's right. It's really got what kind of kicked me in the butt to get going again. Good Lord said, why are you not doing that?
Yeah.
And I said, that's a good question. Do you know the answer? Because I don't.
Yeah. Yeah.
And seriously, and just making sure I haven't missed any comments over here. And I got your ticker going on the bottom for people who want to contact Barbara Ann, info@barbaraanncookson.com. And things are crazy out there right now. And I think people do need to realize and understand love is what it's all about.
It is.
I mean, this whole crazy thing, this whole place, this whole universe started with a spark of love.
Yeah.
And they've about, somebody said that's not proven scientifically. As far as I'm concerned, it is. And
And well, it's really is the biggest power. And if we can, I truly think that, especially in this time right now, there's really absolutely nothing that any of us can control or create other than our own power, our own superpowers. And the only way to turn those on, the only way to make a difference, the only way to be who we're supposed to be is to give love out to the world.
Exactly.
And in my opinion, that's the ultimate power and the ultimate gift. And we all have that within us. And we need to remember that, especially now with everything that's going on globally.
Exactly.
Yes. The podcast that I'm starting, the Super-fied Life, I called it the Super-fied Life, personal growth for the rest of us. And the rest of us is all of us who are trying to make a difference. And I think we all have that power within us to make a difference. And if it doesn't, if you can't make a difference globally, then you can make one in your own home. You can make one in your own community. You can make one in your own business, by remembering to come from a place of love in all that we do.
Very, very true, Barbara Ann. A lot of people have been so wound up by all of this stuff going on, having been hunkered down now for like 8 weeks plus.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Florida's doing a little better than the rest of the world, I guess. We're already in phase 2.
Yep.
Our restaurants are open 50%. We've actually went out and had a fish feed on Friday night in a place called Miller's. And if you ain't been down here, you've got to go to Miller's.
Yeah.
Now, I have nothing to do with that place. I did walk in the door with Emily and said, "Excuse me, if I show you my ID and prove to you that my name's Miller, can I get the discount?" And they said, "Which discount do you want? The senior citizen discount?" Because we're not giving any discounts now. It's one menu, it's paper. And she took it very seriously. She thought I was asking for a break. And I was only kidding. I was only kidding. I was just trying to be funny because that's who I am. I like to be a little comical once in a while. It wasn't taken. But it's okay. It's okay. She did laugh afterwards, and they all had their masks and gloves on and everything. And tables were like every other table.
Yeah.
Like 8 feet apart. So they're doing a good job at it. And
what a strange new world.
It is.
Who would have thought 2 months ago that we would be on a global scale locked down?
That's right.
It's just incredible.
Did you see the pictures of the canals in Italy are actually clean, and you can see the porpoises going through the canals now?
Yes. And
I said, why did people stop dumping their sewage and garbage out? What happened?
Well, the pollution, the skies are clearing in India. It's just amazing to look at the effects. Who would have ever thought that this could happen so fast, so drastically, to change our entire lives, and
that the world went along with it, because typically people don't. I mean, people were scared enough, to say, "Oops!" And if you have a compromised immune system, which they say I do, one thing I'm going to tell you, I'm not afraid. I know where I'm going when I leave. I have my faith, and I have a belief in that, and I don't worry about that. I don't worry about it at all. I really don't. And people say, "How could you be that way?" I said, "Because I have to be." It's mindset, and this is what
it is mindset, and that's why I'm all about, instead of worrying about the externals that we have really no control over, it's to turn our focus to the internals and the personal development and the personal growth, and giving love out to the world, but also giving it back to ourselves. The first few weeks of this shutdown, I was depressed. And I was I last year for me was a really big transitional year. I moved.
Yes.
I moved into a tiny little apartment, and so my lifestyle changed, everything changed. And then it was just a few short months after that all of a sudden I'm closed in this tiny little apartment, in a completely different environment and different lifestyle. And all of a sudden, for an extroverted hugger to be in a tiny little apartment and not allowed to hug anyone or go out anywhere or see clients in person, I was depressed, and I was in a panic like everybody else, and watching the news pretty much all day, trying to keep up on what's going on. And that went on for about 3 or 4 weeks, and I really went into a tailspin. And I think the biggest thing for me that I realized was the loss of structure and the loss of routine, the loss of ritual. I still taught fitness classes at 6 a.m. every morning.
Wow, that's great.
Until this all started, and then all of a sudden that was gone too.
That's true. Yeah, everything had to stop then.
Everything stopped.
Everything closed. Yeah.
everything. So no more in-person clients, no more teaching my group classes to the groups that I was teaching every morning. So everything, and not just me, we've all lost that structure. And so I had to turn the news off. I had to turn the radio off.
Yes.
I had to turn the TV off. And I had to just literally get back to my rituals and my structure, to get myself back in line so that I could come back to being my glowy self and giving that back out to the world, because for a while I just couldn't.
I know the feeling. I spent many a day on the couch and I said, well, this isn't me. This isn't me, but what was I supposed to do? Where was I supposed to go, you know?
Right. Well, I want to share. Can I share with you something that
yes. Absolutely.
Well, when I you mentioned my book, and I wrote my book last year. It was published in, I believe it was October, November. And that was a crazy story too. I was actually on vacation in Arizona, and getting up at 4 a.m. in Arizona every morning and typing and editing and back and forth with my publisher to get that finished while I was on vacation in Arizona, because we had a deadline, which we did, and got it all published. That was fantastic.
That was great.
But I've created to go along with the book, and I use it every day. Mine is right here. I brought it to show you. This is my my little checklist, my superhero checklist.
Look at that.
And for the first few weeks that we were locked down, I was in such a tailspin that I just stopped everything. I stopped my exercise. I stopped my regular eating habits. I didn't get dressed. I didn't even take a shower every day, because why bother? You don't have to go out. And it was several weeks before, it was 3 or 4 weeks. And I finally got up one morning and I thought, okay, this is craziness.
That's enough.
It's enough. And I need to go back to doing my thing. So I got my checklist out and I started using it. And just by getting myself back to doing those everyday habitual.
That's right. You've got to get back on habit. That's right.
Structure type habits has really made all the difference in getting my mood back and making me feel like myself again. Because I don't know about you, Jeff, but when you're laying on the couch, like you said, you don't feel like yourself anymore.
No, and I have times, I have to be honest with the world, that I do lie on the couch because I need that rest.
Yeah.
You know,
well, physically, you need that to take care of yourself.
Excuse me. I do, and I get this guilty feeling about doing it though. Because it's never been me in my whole life. I've always been go, 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 go. And I've always, had multitasking going on. I'd be working on the house. I'll do this. I'll do a broadcast. I'll do a Facebook Live. I'll do something, have a coaching client. And all of a sudden that's all stopped.
Yeah. But you know what? You can't feel guilty, because we're only human, and we all have the same emotions. We're all given the gift of all of these emotions that we can feel.
That is correct. Yes.
And especially in times like this, we're all going to feel the gamut of all those emotions.
Oh yeah.
And if you think about it, it's I'm sure you know of the steps of grief.
Yes. That
we go through. And if you think about it, I think that's exactly what's happened to so many of us. This is a time when we're grieving. I know that's how I've looked at it for me.
That would be true. That would be true.
We're grieving. We're grieving a huge loss, loss of what life has always been like for us. We're grieving a loss of our loved ones because we're not with them.
Very true.
We're grieving a loss of our jobs and our livelihoods and our businesses in many, many, many cases for many, many people. And that is, it's something that we just have to go through. We have to just feel our way through those processes, and hopefully come out on the other side realizing that there should be no guilt for that.
Thank you.
Yeah, there shouldn't.
Yeah, it's just this. I think it's a somber feeling. I totally agree with you. It's the steps of grieving.
Yeah.
Not being around your friends and loved ones. Think
Yeah.
about, no, well, I can talk to you on the phone. At least we had that.
Yeah.
We could talk to people on the phone. Amazing
And thank
stuff.
God
Because
for the technology.
Oh
Thank
yeah.
God for the
Oh yeah.
technology that's allowing
That's right.
families to actually see each other and interact.
Right. Yeah.
It's
Exactly right. Exactly right. The creators of the software we're using for our network that we're on right now had this going for a while for podcasters and people, but not to the degree that it is right now, and it's expanding again.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's
if I can
fantastic. It's fantastic.
So I can,
and
see,
to
I
be
can
able
put
to,
those. This is just like TV, right? Here you are. You've got the whole thing. You're talking to your audience.
Yeah.
And I'm going to bring up, just to give you a feel for this, I'm going to bring up your stuff. Let's see here. How to contact you is right there.
Awesome.
Okay. I mean, it is so lovely to use. It's just simple. It's simple, click of a mouse technology, which used to be a major production for a live broadcast.
Yeah.
And, I'm just so thrilled with it that this is one of the things I had to do. I had to get myself back into the game.
Yeah.
And it helped me mentally so very much.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Me too.
Amazing. Yeah. So while we've got you on full screen and you've got the audience, guys, send some love, a little bit more comments on there. We've still got 15, 20 minutes of showtime left, and we can go longer. If you guys have got conversation and questions, we're going to take your questions for Barbara Ann, but not yet. Not yet. I want to talk about, and I would love to hear the actual story behind the secret to a superhero you.
Oh, yes. Yes. I would love to share that.
Excellent.
A superhero you it came about from, let me back up a little bit. Many, many years ago, and this is going to sound a little kooky and a little woo-woo for those of you who use that term woo-woo. I was years ago very convinced that, and this is after I'd been coaching, after I'd been helping clients, after I'd been doing fitness classes and kind of transitioning my whole life. I knew that I was going to be writing and speaking more. And I knew I had to write something, and I was struggling like crazy. What am I supposed to write? And like you, Jeff, I pretty much just sat down and said, okay, give it to me.
That's
what
right.
am I supposed to write? Right?
Please.
Yes.
Drip feed.
Well, yeah. And some of my friends call them downloads.
Mm-hmm.
And I always thought that was and I always thought that was kind of a weird term, but I don't anymore because I get them all the time.
Right.
And the very first one that I remember was literally, I remember I was house cleaning, and I was thinking about this book, and I'd been thinking about it constantly for forever. And I finally I sat down in my chair and I said, okay, what is it that I'm supposed to write? And just like that, in my head, I heard, it's 8 powers. And here they are. Be engaged, be aware, be willing. Boom, 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 boom. And in a list. And within 30 seconds, I had it. And I knew that was it. And I remember laughing out loud, literally, and out loud saying, is that it? That's it? That's too simple. But the more I grabbed a notebook and I wrote it down. That's how powerful it was. And I still have the notebook with those little scribbly notes. But the more I looked at that list and the more I used it and the more I applied it in my own life with everything, every situation, it really is. That's all I needed. So as I started keynoting more and transitioning my message and everything and the superhero powers and all that, that list became the 8 superpowers. And then it became a superhero you activate your unstoppable powers. And I use that format with my coaching clients. I use it when I'm doing workshops. I've done trainings with corporate workshops. I've done office trainings with businesses locally, and it's all around the superpowers and how to apply them in your own life so that you can be a superhero you. And all that means, really, Jeff, it doesn't mean leaping over buildings. It just means showing up and being the best we can every day, which is going to be different every day. It doesn't mean you're a superhero every day. It means some days we're going to lay on the couch because that's what we need. And
so I think this is a really good point to interrupt you just for a second, because I want to show everybody an amazing picture. And when I saw this picture, I went, this woman can fly. There she is, ladies and gentlemen. And,
my God.
And I mean, at first I thought, is that a fake background? Are you going to leap off this building in a single bound? What's going on here? And
that is not a fake background.
You were really standing on the edge of a mirror pool.
I know, it looks like it could be. That's such a cool picture. I don't know how you found that, but that is.
I found it.
That was taken by my assistant Robin. I was in the suit, and we were getting ready to head down to do my keynote. I was the keynote speaker first thing in the morning, and so there were no people. And as we left our room to head to the elevator, just after I saw that little boy, I looked out and there was a glass door that opened out to that pool. And it was absolutely beautiful. And there were no people because it was first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
So I said, oh my gosh, let's go out here and get a picture. So we went out and we were just messing around, and she said, stand up there on the edge and do the superhero thing.
Thank God you didn't fall backwards or something.
Well, so I stood up on the edge and I did the Wonder Woman pose, and she snapped a couple of pictures. And when we got them back, I thought, wow, those are pretty cool. But it does look fake.
It looks like green screen to me. I'm sorry. I really had to look at it and said, did you Photoshop this or something? Because I was almost expecting to find another one where you had your hands up in the air and you're getting ready to fly,
No, that was for real. That was in Fort Lauderdale. Yep.
I loved it. That was a beautiful picture. I love that picture. And when you get back to speaking on stage, get some more on stage pics. It'll be absolutely fantastic.
Oh yeah, I definitely will. And boy, let's hope that happens soon. I don't know what's going to happen with all of our.
We just got to give
engagements.
Higher authority, and just it's all going to happen the way it's supposed to happen. And most people are so worried about it, they're getting sick.
Oh my gosh, isn't that the truth? Well, that's how I was feeling after a few weeks. I was literally starting to feel unhealthy and unwell. And that's why I turned off the news. I turned off the news, the TV, the radio, and I do listen about once a week. I'll just check in quickly and see, okay, what's the update that I have to see? And if there isn't one, good. I don't need to see it.
Well, this brings us to a really good point. We've got time, and we're coming up on 10 minutes left of the show, but we're going to go over, and I'm okay with that.
Okay.
I hope you guys are too. I hope you hang in here with us. I'd like you to give everybody a couple-minute dissertation. I'm going to give you full screen and go into what you would do if you were going to coach these guys on what they need to do to stay focused, to stay in a good mindset. Give them a couple of minutes.
Okay.
All right?
Okay.
Go ahead. and I'll be right back with you because I'm dying to hear this.
Okay, so let's do a little bit of coaching.
There you go.
And if anybody watching has any specific question or situation or issue, I'd love to see that too, because I love laser coaching. I do that when I'm speaking, and I do that whenever I do workshops. I always have a laser coaching session, and that's when we get down and dirty and really just help people. But I guess right now, if I were to go back and try to give a little bit of coaching for everybody, and of course now Winston's going to bark. Winston. If I went back to the powers, there are 8 powers, and they're all very important. There's another book coming actually that will explain even more than what's in the first book. And the first book is right here, A Superhero You. The next book is going to explain exactly how to physically and emotionally turn on these powers within you. But one of the powers that I really, really stress right now is the power of awareness. And the power of awareness, it is really, we could spend days just talking about awareness, but there are 3 awarenesses that we all need to be aware of. And the first is that we are energy. We are energy. Everything is energy. And we are made up of energy. Love is an energy. When I say I glow, I give love out to the world, that is an energy. It's an energy that comes from within us that we can choose to project out into the world in all that we do. That's the first part of being aware. The second part of being aware is being aware of our language and the power of our words and our language. What we say and what we think carries energy and carries power. And when we are trapped in negativity and what I call poisonous, toxic energy, that will drag you down. It will affect your health. It will affect your emotional well-being, and everyone around you will feel that. So being aware of your energy, being aware of your language, and part of your language is self-talk. What do you say to yourself? When you were saying, Jeff, that you were feeling guilty, that's a self-talk. That's a
right.
Shoulda, coulda, woulda kind of self-talk.
I call it my BS, which
and I call it
practically
BSD.
belief system, BS.
Belief system. That's another power.
Right.
But I call it your BSD. It's your backseat driver. It's your backseat driver. And it's that little voice. And we all have it. And it can get nagging away at us and nitpicking at us, making us feel guilty for what we're not doing, what we should be doing, what we think we should be doing, what we think we should be eating. It's negative self-talk. And we need to be aware of it to be able to make it better. And the last awareness, and it is so important, and I hear this from clients all the time in one way, shape, or form, is we need to be aware of the greatest power that we all have, and that's the power of choice.
Oh, wow.
Everything is a choice. Everything. We have a choice in how we react, how we answer, how we show up every single situation. It's a choice. And once we realize that, and realize that with every question, there's an answer. With every action, there's a reaction. With every situation, there's an outcome. And in that little space between is your power of choice.
Excellent.
And so when I went back the first few weeks after this pandemic hit and the lockdown started, and everything was all screwy, and I lost my structure and I lost my focus, and was just, I was a mess. When I went back to those 8 powers and really realized, okay, what am I choosing? What am I choosing here? Am I going to continue to choose to be depressed and stay in my pajamas and waste away these days?
Exactly.
Or am I going to choose to get up, take a shower, get dressed, do my workout, and get back to life? Because that's our 2 choices. And whether or not we're locked down in a pandemic or we're back to work and back to our normal lives, we have those same choices either
Exactly
way.
right. Exactly right. Yes.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
So the power of awareness. Yeah. Be aware
Awareness is
that you
huge,
can
and
choose who you want to be.
that's it right there. It's
Yeah.
who you want to be, and people do have a choice for that. And they say, "No, I don't. I am who I am." Well, that is true. You are who you are, but you have the ability. We have an amazing computer in here.
Yeah.
And we really have the ability to change it up.
And in here.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's all from the heart.
Yes.
And somebody said, "How can you say that? We this is what does all the work up here." I said, "You really think so?" I want to ask you a question. What is the first organ that is formed in vitro in a human being? Well, I think it's the heart.
Yeah.
I said, so if it's the heart, where's the brain telling the heart what to do and how to pump and how to send precious life fluids throughout the body so that the baby grows?
Yeah.
Come on now, think about it.
Yeah.
And it's been proven the heart has so much more energy than the brain. It's unbelievable.
And I'm sure you're aware of the Heart Math Institute.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. I love those guys.
And research. And they're proving that the impulses there are many more impulses and many faster impulses going from the heart to the brain than the other way around. And that's a really big deal. And when we can come from that, and when we can be aware of that and put that energy into our choices and what we do, what a difference that would make.
Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct.
If everyone would stop and think, if everyone, before they lash out at someone, before they jump into that negative political conversation and start a confrontation, before you started an argument or jumped into someone else's argument, if you just took that second, that tiny second where choice is, and became aware of the choice, and then made the powerful choice of who you want to be and what you want to put out into the world.
Exactly.
Can you imagine what the world would be like then?
Well, they've done all kinds of study on it, and when they've had this group prayer and group thought and focus all over the world at certain times, so it might be 2 a.m. in the world here and 6 a.m. in the world over here, but everybody did it at the same time. They said the energy was readable from the heart.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
The constant concentrated focus. It's absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
And it's just good stuff. You see, that's why I'm gonna have you on the new show. Let's Get Real.
Oh yeah.
Because this is that stuff right there. This is a big part of it as to why people go down that rabbit hole of, I'm going to call it CRAP. It's crap.
Yeah.
Okay. No offense. I don't mean to offend anybody, but there's too much negativism going on out there. And there needs to be, well, it isn't all positive, No, it's not.
No.
But you can take a situation and choose how you're going to respond to it. Don't react to the crap. Respond. And come to a point of understanding and respond.
Absolutely.
And then just do something about it and get rid of it. If we all did that, even in relationships, if we would respond to each other versus reacting and grading on each other. Well, you said this and I said that. I mean, we could talk about this stuff all day.
Oh, I could talk for days.
You know. And so you are going to be on the new show with me. That's a promise. And you're going to be a featured guest, and this is stuff we've got to get into.
Yeah. That's only one of the powers. There's 8.
Well, you know what? We're going to go through them on the next show, because this ain't over yet, honey. We're going to keep on going.
That's
This
awesome.
you
That's
know, we
awesome.
just barely left the station, as they
Yeah.
say.
Yeah.
You know, the train's got a ways to go, and we need to bring this to people. We need to bring this and get it out there. So I'm so happy and blessed that you are here with me today.
Oh,
Um,
thank you.
we talked about, and anybody, hey, everybody drop a number 1 in the chat if you're still with us. This is really important because this is a special offer coming up. And I neglected to mention it in the beginning. I should have, but it looks like we still got quite a few people here listening. Now, they may be listening and off doing other things, of course. They may not be watching our beautiful faces, but they're probably listening, because this is going right through YouTube and everything right now.
Cool.
It's being broadcast to our channel, through the channel to YouTube. So it's going to be on our YouTube channel, which is a huge thing to be able to do that. Deborah Lynn has just dropped a 1 in the box.
Awesome.
Now, I don't know if it's fair that you give this to your sister, but
She already has it.
you know what she's gonna do when we get over there to the pub? You know what she's gonna do? She's gonna go, whack, Jeff. What do you mean it ain't fair to give it to her sister? Oh gosh, Deborah, you were there that night. We were there with Dawn, and we had fun with the Dougie Graves. I remember that night. That was absolutely fantastic. Mark Harkins. All right, brother. Here we go. There's another one. There's another one.
Mark,
all right, they're coming in. They're coming in.
Mark is in Florida.
Oh, where are you in Florida, Mark? Type it in the chat, because that's just where I am.
Yes, Mark is in Florida. Mark is one of my lifelong friends.
Oh, that's awesome. Deborah's going to spread the love. Amen to that.
Yeah. Well, no, what I'd like to do is I have a few things I want to give to your listeners and your viewers. One of them is what it's really my goal to get this in the hands of everybody. This little checklist.
I think that's fantastic.
Everybody
that's here to the end is going to get a special gift, right?
Yes. And actually,
even Deborah, by the way, she said she deferred, but no. And if she doesn't have it already, she needs this too.
She has it already. But the checklist is something I created from the 8 powers. And I can kind of just explain what this is. And
awesome.
The reason I made it, one of the reasons I made it, I read a book. I read a book a week, but one of the books that I read was by Atul Gawande. And he wrote a great book called Becoming Mortal. But he also wrote another book about checklists. And his book was really about the medical field. He's a surgeon.
Okay.
And about how checklists are so powerful for keeping us on track. He was talking about checklists in the medical field, like in surgery, checklists to make sure everything is done the same way every time to prevent mistakes and that kind of thing.
Right.
But also the power of checklists in our lives, to use checklists. And I use checklists all the time. I have to-do lists, I have checklists. Whenever there's a procedure to follow, a checklist is just so powerful. So I created my own to go along with a superhero you. And it's a checklist that it incorporates some of the powers, but you don't have to know about the powers to use the checklist. You can use the checklist as a standalone tool.
Okay.
And it basically, it helps you to set the tone for your day. Remember when we were talking about making choices and choosing who you're going to be and what you're going to bring into the world?
Yep.
Well, this checklist, when I get up in the morning and I have my coffee and I go through my checklist, and I laminated mine, and I have a dry erase pen that I use every day so that saves paper. I'm going to use it every day. I don't want to throw stuff away. So basically the checklist, it has a place for the date. It has a reminder for you to hydrate, drink your water today. It has 5 things that we commit to do every day. And it's something that makes me happy, something that makes me healthy, something to make me laugh, something that feeds my soul, and something to make someone else happy.
Nice.
Because if we can do those 5 things and just quickly come up with 5 things, it already will start to set you up for a happier day, for a day that can help someone else be happy. And that's where the glow comes in. If I'm going to feel happier and I can do something to make someone else feel happier, we're growing the glow a little bit every day.
Yeah.
And I also added, I know you've been in a hospital and they have on the wall, they call it a pain scale.
Yes.
And I'll show you what it looks like. It has the little, see the faces?
Yep. Yes.
And so I kind of stole that idea. And it kind of goes back to my old history in the dental office too, because I worked in a dental office many years ago where my boss had a check-in dry erase board, and it had a happy sun and a sad cloud and rain. And you had to go in and choose what's your mood today and write your name somewhere on the board. And 30 years ago, I thought that was the corniest thing I ever heard of. I thought it was stupid, but now I'm doing it every day on my checklist.
That's
and the
cool,
idea
though.
being that if we can get up in the morning and identify how we're feeling, whether we're happy or sad or angry, or,
right.
If you can identify how you're feeling, that's the first step to being able to choose how you want to feel.
Oh, wow.
Because you're aware
That is huge.
You're aware of,
Yeah.
okay, if say for example, I woke up this morning and I'd had a horrible dream and I woke up angry at someone in my dream. And you get up in the morning and you have all that energy of that anger. And if you don't acknowledge it when you get up and you just start into your day, you're going to carry that anger into wherever you're going.
How
but
true.
If you can acknowledge it and sit down with a checklist and circle it and go, oh, I'm feeling pretty angry right now.
Yeah.
I'm going to have a cup of coffee. I'm going to take a breath. I'm going to choose to feel something different. And you can.
Exactly.
You can do that. But the first step is
yes.
being aware of that. So
it's becoming conscious of the fact you can do it.
Exactly.
That's the secret. And we stay back here in the unconscious and do our habitual things every morning and mope around. Don't speak to me till I have a cup of coffee. Get away. Where you don't need to be that way at all.
Exactly.
There's really no excuse for it other than you want to be that way.
That's right. And
you don't want anybody near you. You want to be a grumble. You want to keep people away. You're going to hold the cup of coffee. I know I sound terrible, like I'm picking on somebody. Did somebody out there know that they feel this way? I'm sorry, but this is true.
And
I used to do it.
Well, yeah. And some days, like if you get up and you're angry and you just feel like, okay, I'm going to feel this and I want to feel this, that's okay too. But just be aware that you're feeling it and that you can keep it to yourself. Like I've gotten up a few mornings during this pandemic and been extremely sad. And I go to my checklist and I circle the sad crying face because that's how I feel. And it's okay to feel that way.
Yes, it is.
And give yourself permission to feel that way. But be aware that that's how you're feeling, and then make the choice. Do I need to feel sad like this today? Maybe you do. There's been a couple days when I did, and I stayed in here and I cried and I had my sad time and then I let it go.
I love what you've done with this. I love it.
But we can choose to keep it or we can choose to let it go. That's the whole idea of the checklist, is the awareness of our emotional state when we get up. And then of course, any checklist, we need to have our to-dos. So I've added 3 things that I want to accomplish today for my work, 3 things that I want to accomplish at home, never more than 3 because you're setting yourself up to fail.
True.
And then the most important thing is my 3 thankfuls. And those are the 3 things that I'm grateful for today. And I know it's cliche, and I know everybody says, be grateful, but truly it's key. You and I both know that.
The point is to actually be grateful.
Be
humbled in gratitude and thankful.
Yes. And I'm grateful every day. And when I wasn't using this, that's when I was a mess for 3 or 4 weeks. It just fell off my radar and I wasn't doing it. But when I got back to that, it's like turning on a switch. It's like turning on those powers all over again.
Wow.
So yeah, that's
Wow.
on my website at barbaraannecookson.com. There's a link at the top that says free stuff. Go and download it. It's free. You just download it and print it, and you'll have the checklist.
There it is, right at the bottom of the screen. You got no excuse.
Yes, use it every day.
I want to talk about one part of that you brought up, which really is huge, and we've got some comments I'm going to bring in too in just a minute, guys. Thank you for that, by the way. Thanks for that love and you're still being here with us, because you're in the running. Here's the thing: when you write down that you're having a sad face morning, that's a visual, that's acuity. You're going from these lenses, they're not eyes, they're just camera lenses, to the brain. And you're looking at the chart, you're visualizing, I'm feeling sad.
Yes.
And you circle the sad, it's going to the brain. And when you get into the habit of saying, I can change sad to happy. Now, you're not going to be running around like a bumble and idiot all the time. Oh, I'm happy, you know, and singing. And although I did that yesterday, Emily thought I was nuts. She's, what is going on with you? I said, just had two amazing, powerful days of mastermind with 80 other phenomenal coaches, speakers, authors, and top level people in the industry, like Les Brown, Mr. Glenn Morshower, 45 years in the industry of making movies, over 250 films to his credit, like Transformers. And who doesn't remember 24? Come on now. Anyway.
And you got their energy.
That's right. Agent Aaron Pierce. You got to remember this stuff. So when he talks to you, he's a motivational speaker, man. He gets into the head. I didn't know he was like that. Amazing. So when you come out of something like that, people say, why do you guys go to these events like that? You spend all that money to fly to here and to Florida. I said, I'm not spending anything. I'm making an investment in me to create a better me. Absolutely. So that I can be better and I have more to share with everybody else, including knowledge. Not to be a know-it-all, but I want a happy life.
Yeah.
And I've not had one most of my life.
Yeah.
But I had to do something about it, just like you did and other people we know. So remember, guys, that chart is huge.
Yeah.
Barbara Ann, I love you for that. That chart is fantastic.
Yeah, it's powerful. And I've all of my clients get that when we start coaching. And they use it, and I've gotten great feedback from that.
Look.
Went through a few iterations before this final final checklist.
Somebody's here with us. She's saying hello.
Hello, Emily. The beautiful Emily. I've seen the pain scale, and I love that you've adapted it for your checklist. Yes, the pain scale, and it really is a powerful part of that checklist, because it's helped me. It's helped me tremendously, and that's why I put that together. I made the tool.
Now see what you've done. Look what you've done now. Look what she said now.
Going down to get it. Oh, yay!
Robin's there too. I think I've got one message.
An option on your checklist. Oh my gosh! Look at Robin Pierce. Just said introspective should be an option on your checklist. Thank you, Robin. Let me tell you.
Robin.
That's very intuitive of you. And I'm not sure, but I think she has my book. The workbook, A Superhero You, actually is filled with what I call introspective questions. I call it the IQ section. Introspective questions. And this book, it's a workbook. And it's a workbook because it's work. You go through each section, each power, and it has IQ questions, introspective questioning. That's the personal growth part. To help you to awaken these powers and to understand these powers in yourself. So thanks for the reminder, Robin, for the
awesome, Robin.
That's really key. And the checklist does that with the pain scale. It asks us to be introspective and to go inward and to really connect with ourselves on an emotional level,
Wow.
and identify where we are, what we're feeling, and how we can maybe shift that in some way or another to make it a better day, and to
Exactly.
and to give that out in what we do. And if you're going to be angry, that's okay too, but try not to project that anger onto someone else.
True.
Because our energy is affecting the energy of everyone around us, even through this media, Jeff. You know, if I were on here and I was grumpy and, you know, and I was,
it's going to be picked up. That energy will surround the world, no matter whether it's good, bad, or ugly energy.
Right. And it travels through this medium almost as well.
Yes, it does. So it's electronic.
And so we need to remember that those emotions that we're feeling, and ask ourselves the introspective question: is this emotion that I'm feeling something that I want to share? Is it something I need to share? Is it necessary? Is it kind? Maybe not. So, and it doesn't make it wrong. It's all okay to feel, because we're built to feel those things. But is it productive, or helpful or kind to spread that around?
Very true. Very true.
Anger or sadness, or you know, those kind of things. Maybe
those
not.
are emotions. Those are all emotions.
Yeah.
We were created with emotions for a reason, and they were for our pleasure and our pain, believe it or not. And the pain part of it was stuff that would teach us what not to do.
Right.
Typically, when you go, that's what pain was all about.
Right.
And we didn't crawl out of the ocean, and we didn't develop from something else. We were created as very, very smart individuals that have now, you know, made it through many, 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 many years on this planet. Going back to what you were speaking to about hot math, they're saying we as a human being have been here a whole lot longer. Deborah Lynn, yes, we got to say goodbye, Deborah. Hey, Deb, we'll see you as soon as we get back for a cold one. All right? Got a date.
Back to Maine.
Back to Maine. We come back up. We will see you. Looking forward to that. Hey, yeah? All right. She's got to get back to work. Going to a workout, I believe she said. So, yeah, I mean, it's amazing stuff. When we get all into this, so I want to make sure that we have this right. You guys, anybody gets a hold of Barbara Ann will receive that, correct?
Yes, it's on the website. Okay. It's all you have to do is go and put your email in, and it will send it right to you, and you can download it and print it and use it every day. I would highly recommend printing off a handful of them and try it for a week. Try it for just a week and see if it doesn't change your life. I can guarantee it will.
I believe it. I believe it.
There's a couple of other free things that I'd like to.
All right, let's go. Freebies.
I do everything I can to share everything I can with everyone I can. And one of the other things that I've created is a meditation. Meditation is it's a very powerful tool for personal growth. I meditate. I have apps on my phone that I use for meditation. And meditating doesn't have to be sitting in a lotus position, you know, with mudras and poses, or chanting Om or anything like that. It can literally be just sitting and being quiet for a few minutes. Be quiet and listen for, you know, the messages like I got with my book. But I've created a 3-minute audio visual meditation that's designed to download to your phone or mobile device that you can listen to or watch anytime, any day, multiple times a day, to help keep you in a positive mindset and a growth mindset. It's an audio visual of the 8 powers. It has my voice and some quiet music It has some visual pictures that will, because like you said, our eyes are connected to our brain. And when we see a
Right.
visual, that registers on an emotional level. So the audio visual meditation was created that way. There's a visual, there's my voice, there's some music, and it talks you, it's 3 minutes long, talks you through the 8 powers. And it's a powerful tool as well. And my clients use it. I have some clients that, I have one client who used it when she had to drive to pick up her son from school at a bus stop. And so she loaded it on her phone, and she would always get there, 5 or 10 minutes ahead of the bus. So she'd be there when the bus got there. And so she would load it on her phone and listen to it while she was sitting in the car, waiting for her son off the bus.
Excellent time to do that.
So you can, if you're waiting at a doctor's appointment, or if you're at home and have a few minutes, it's an easy, simple tool that you can either watch or listen to, that talks you through all of the 8 powers.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, and that's a download on the website as well.
Wow,
They're all listed there. And right before we went on the air, just for you, Jeff, and for your viewers, I loaded on an extra free call with me. It's a 50-minute free coaching super session with me.
Holy moly.
Where we can get on a Zoom call, a video call like this from anywhere, and we'll have a 50-minute strategy session, superhero session, one-on-one. And that's
fantastic.
That's just for your viewers.
Here you go, guys. If you've been on this show live with us today with the amazing Barbara Anne Cookson, you will get these. Barbara, is there anything that, if anybody got in touch with you on a replay, they're not going to get they're not going to get the coaching session. Could they get the chart possibly?
Oh, yes, absolutely. Okay. Absolutely. We're going to leave that chart up for everyone.
All right.
The sessions will be for, your viewers here.
Okay.
But yeah, that checklist.
Live viewers.
I want everyone to have that checklist. It's
all right.
It's
live viewers get the whole enchilada.
Yeah.
You get the whole thing, guys. So
and don't forget to go get the book.
My gosh, yeah. Get the book. Get the book.
Yeah, the book is called The Superhero You.
Yeah.
Activate Your Unstoppable Powers. And it's a great book, if I do say so myself. And it's
you should say so yourself. It is a great book.
It's available on Amazon.
Absolutely correct.
It's not in a Kindle format. It is only in print. And that was on purpose by design, because it is a workbook, and the publisher and I discussed it, and we both felt that, no, it's a workbook, and it's designed to be written in and worked through, and it's a learning process. And there's something about putting pen to paper that there
really is. There's no question.
Yeah, it's more.
So guys, I'm going to put up the website address again. You have no excuses if you're still here with us live, and we do have a bunch of people still here that have been listening in. I can see the count. The ticker is going. Yay! So people have been here. I see it going up and down, which is normal on a show. But replays go to the thousands
awesome.
once this thing gets streaming in YouTube. The tracker has been fantastic, and it's just this is the best way to do it, really. This is I call this the Cadillac or the Rolls Royce of podcasting right here.
This is great.
This is fantastic. We've had fun today. We've gotten through a lot of material. I want to thank you, Barbara Ann, from the heart. I love you. You're such a dear, great friend. And we both love you. Emily does too. I'm sure she'd put hearts in there for. We got some more comments. Hang on here. Let's see what's going on. Look at this. Lynn Grant, love your meditations.
Love my meditations. Oh, thank you, Lynn.
And your darling sister said yay to having a beer. See that? So and there we go. Emily again. I saw that option and couldn't believe it was free. Thank you, Barbara Ann. Emily loves this stuff. She loves you. And I wish Emily, if you can pop yourself on here for a minute, you've got a link. Come on for a minute with us, if you can. I don't know if you're in the middle of something, and if I don't see you in a couple of minutes, well, no, you couldn't. But so great to see you there. And everybody, thank you so very much for being with us today.
Yes.
This has been fantastic. And this ain't the end, guys. This Emily has a show, by the way. I want to do a little ad spot for Emily. Connecting the Dots with Emily Miller. And if you want to know how to monetize your message, you need to get a hold of me, darling wife, Emily. She has got a phenomenal program put together. It even includes having a show like this, if you were interested, for a very, 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 very reasonable investment. Remember, we can't call it a cost, can't call it a fee, because you can write it off. And guess what? Somebody's here to visit us. Yay! Yes, she
Emily!
You made it.
I
You made
did.
it.
I did. Now, where did you go? Oh, okay, I found you. Okay,
We're
I just
right
had
here. We
to stop
can see.
playing the video because
Oh yes, otherwise
I
you'll
could
contradict
hear
yourself.
a delay.
Yeah,
So,
it's amazing when a computer contradicts you.
well, it was just confusing me because I could hear you guys talking, and it was
Oh,
like,
you can hear. Yeah, that's right, because she's on the other end of the
I
Ponderosa.
was still watching. I was still watching the show.
Yeah,
Like, oh, I think
yeah.
I can come on. So, hello,
She's
everyone.
she's still in Fort Myers, Florida. She's just in a different time zone. I mean, no, a different place in the house.
Different.
So, but yeah, we this is just the beginning. I was just mentioning your program, Emily. Great time
Okay.
to talk about it. I mean, such a phenomenal investment. It's crazy, and we're looking for people who really want this. That want this type of a platform.
Yep.
We can teach you simply everything there is to know about it. And with Emily's experience and the back office stuff, the social media, website creation, everything she does and knows, she's a Ziegler Choose to Win coach. So she's got the coaching program. She and Barbara Ann are like this. They complement each other like crazy. And good friends we are. And it is so fantastic. And then you'll have a spot in the network, and you'll have a regular time to have be part of the channel. And so if you're interested in that, get a hold of us. Emily, what's the best? I don't know if I have the email thing ready here to run to get a hold of you. I think I do.
Want to comment on this video, I will get in touch and follow up with people. That's probably easiest.
Well, then we can do it that way too. I was just looking to see if I had your. I think I have it.
Follow. It's like I am Emily Miller.
There you go. And I gave the interactive interviews. Is what the show is. We're on now. Stay tuned for this show every week. There'll be somebody in that hot seat. Somebody, and Barbara Ann's going to be back with us. I know that. And she's going to be with us for Let's Get Real, the new show coming up.
Oh, I'm looking forward to that.
Can't wait.
Yeah, well, we're going to do a roundtable. We're going to bring some people in. And this isn't going to get too controversial, other than it needs things that need to be spoken about why are people having a mindset issue that sends them off into never land, where they just are saying things, believing things. They're so full of what. Get back to reality. Get real. Get a fact check. Make it, and we're not going to go into politics. We're not going to pick sides. We're going to remain neutral on all that. I don't want to hear about this one or that one, or who's running for office, or they don't like what's going on in the White House. That ain't part of it, because I'll kick them out in a second. I'll be very upfront and honest about that. Emily will tell you, I'm not happy with the way things are going on either in this country. I don't think too many people are. I don't care what side of the aisle they're on. So that's about as much as I'm going to say about politics. But the show is going to be about helping people understand how to get real up here. That's pretty much where it's coming from. So stay with us. And then, if you want to get hold of Emily, I am Emily. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Say it again.
Yeah, I am Emily Miller. That's all you need to know. Just
that's
look
all you
for
need
me.
to know. I am Emily Miller. I guess that's pretty simple, because she is Emily Miller, right?
Exactly. It is who I am.
Yeah, that's who she is. And we were talking about the I am. We've been talking about that all through the show with Barbara Ann. So we've had a great show, guys. I hope you like it. Send us some love. Send love and hearts to Barbara Ann on her page, her Facebook page. Go to her website. Take advantage of the offers. If you're watching this on replay, I'm sorry you will not get the coaching session. That's just the way it is. You're going to have to come back. You're going to have to come back to get the offers that are going to come up during our roundtable discussion on Let's Get Real.
Yes.
And Emily's show, Connecting the Dots, you want to go do that. That is on Wednesday afternoon, 4 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. Pacific. If you want to learn how to exactly do what we just mentioned, how to get yourself rolling and monetize your message and really make an impact on the world, because you deserve a good living. You deserve a great income, because then you got more to help other people. And that's the secret right there. So nobody should be starving and then being in poverty. And we know we got tons of that. So we always have believed we're going to give people a hand up, not a hand out. So we're all about that. And that about wraps us up for tonight. Barbara Ann, thank you again from the heart. We love you. This has been a fantastic show. As soon as we start broadcasting, hang in here with Emily and I. We're going to chat with you for a couple more minutes. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you from my heart, from our hearts, from Barbara Ann, I'm sure, for being with us here on the I Am Radio TV network. I am Jeffrey Miller. I am the show host. Emily's the show host for Connecting the Dots with Emily Miller and Barbara Ann on her new show and podcast coming up. Oh, my goodness. We all going to have fun. Yeah. So stay tuned. Look at our page, please. Go to Facebook to the I Am Radio TV network. Like the page and get the notifications. It's very, very important. You can also check us out on Instagram. You can also check us out on YouTube. I remember. Yes. And that's going to be expanding as we move forward. There's going to be other destinations, multi-stream destinations. So from our hearts to yours, thank you. We love you all. Thanks so much for being with us today. God bless you all. Bye-bye for now.
Love you. Bye.
Bye.